Book of Jubilees, Chapter 42. And in the first year of the 3rd week of the 45th Jubilee the famine began to come into the land, and the rain refused to be given to the earth, for none whatever fell. And the earth grew barren, but in the land of Egypt there was food, for Joseph had gathered the seed of the land in the 7 years of plenty and had preserved it. And the Egyptians came to Joseph that he might give them food, and he opened the storehouses where was the grain of the first year, and he sold it to the people of the land for gold. And Jacob heard that there was food in Egypt, and he sent his 10 sons that they should procure food for him in Egypt, but Benjamin he did not send. And the 10 sons of Jacob arrived in Egypt with those who were traveling there. And Joseph recognized them, but they did not recognize him, and he spake unto them and questioned them. And he said unto them, Are you not spies, and have you not come to explore the approaches of the land? And he put them in ward. And after that he set them free again, and detained Simeon alone, and sent off his 9 brothers. And he filled their sacks with corn, and he put their gold in their sacks, and they did not know. And he commanded them to bring their younger brother, for they had told him their father was living, and their younger brother. And they went up from the land of Egypt, and they came to the land of Canaan. And they told their father all that had befallen them, and how the master of the country had spoken roughly to them, and had seized Simeon till they should bring Benjamin. And Jacob said, Me have you bereaved of my children. Joseph is not, and Simeon also is not, and you will take Benjamin away. On me has your wickedness come. And he said, My son will not go down with you lest perchance he fall sick. For their mother gave birth to 2 sons and one has perished, and this one also you will take from me. If perchance he took a fever on the road, you would bring down my old age with sorrow unto death. For he saw that their money had been returned to every man in his sack, and for this reason he feared to send him. And the famine increased and became sore in the land of Canaan, and in all lands save in the land of Egypt. For many of the children of the Egyptians had stored up their seed for food from the time when they saw Joseph gathering seed together, and putting it in storehouses, and preserving it for the years of famine. And the people of Egypt fed themselves thereon during the first year of their famine. But when Yashar'al saw that the famine was very sore in the land, and that there was no deliverance, he said unto his sons, Go again, and procure food for us that we die not. And they said, We shall not go, unless our youngest brother go with us, we shall not go. And Yashar'al saw that if he did not send him with them, they should all perish by reason of the famine. And Reuben said, Give him into my hand, and if I do not bring him back to you, slay my 2 sons instead of his soul. And he said unto him, He shall not go with you. And Judah came near and said, Send him with me, and if I do not bring him back to you, let me bear the blame before you all the days of my life. And he sent him with them in the 2nd year of this week, on the 1st day of the month, and they came to the land of Egypt with all those who went. And they had presents in their hands, stacked, and almonds and terebinth, nuts and pure honey. And they went and stood before Joseph, and he saw Benjamin his brother, and he knew him, and said unto them, Is this your youngest brother? And they said unto him, It is he. And he said, Yahuwah be favorable to you, my son. And he sent him into his house, and he brought forth Simeon unto them, and he made a feast for them, and they presented to him the gift which they had brought in their hands. And they eat before him, and he gave them all a portion, but the portion of Benjamin was 7 times larger than that of any of theirs. And they eat and drank, and arose and remained with their donkeys. And Joseph devised a plan whereby he might learn their thoughts, as to whether thoughts of peace prevailed amongst them. And he said to the steward who was over his house, Fill all their sacks with food, and return their money unto them into their vessels, and my cup, the silver cup out of which I drink, put it in the sack of the youngest, and send them away. Chapter 43. And he did as Joseph had told him, and filled all their sacks for them with food, and put their money in their sacks, and put the cup in Benjamin's sack. And early in the morning they departed, and it came to pass that when they had gone from thence, Joseph said unto the steward of his house, Pursue them, run and seize them, saying, For good you have requited me with evil. You have stolen from me the silver cup out of which my master drinks. And bring back to me their youngest brother, and fetch him quickly before I go forth to my seat of judgment. And he ran after them, and said unto them according to these words. And they said unto him, Allahim forbid that your servants should do this thing, and steal from the house of your master any utensil, and the money also which we found in our sacks the first time, we your servants brought back from the land of Canaan. How then should we steal any utensil? Behold, here are we and our sacks search, and wherever you find the cup in the sack of any man amongst us, let him be slain, and we and our donkeys will serve your master. And he said unto them, Not so, the man with whom I find him only shall I take as a servant, and you shall return in peace unto your house. And as he was searching in their vessels, beginning with the eldest, and ending with the youngest, it was found in Benjamin's sack. And they rent their garments, and laded their donkeys, and returned to the city, and came to the house of Joseph, and they all bowed themselves on their faces to the ground before him. And Joseph said unto them, You have done evil. And they said, What shall we say, and how shall we defend ourselves? Our master hath discovered the transgression of his servants. Behold, we are the servants of our master, and our donkeys also. And Joseph said unto them, I too fear Yahuwah. As for you, go you to your homes, and let your brother be my servant, for you have done evil. Know you not that a man delights in his cup as I with this cup? And yet you have stolen it from me. And Judah said, O my master, let your servant, I pray you, speak a word in my master's ear. 2 brothers did your servant's mother bear to our father. One went away and was lost, and have not been found, and he alone is left of his mother. And your servant our father loves him, and his life also is bound up with the life of this lad. And it will come to pass, when we go to your servant our father, and the lad is not with us, that he will die, and we shall bring down our father with sorrow unto death. Now rather let me, your servant, abide instead of the boy as a bondsman unto my master, and let the lad go with his brethren. For I became surety for him at the hand of your servant our father, and if I do not bring him back, your servant will hear the blame to our father forever. And Joseph saw that they were all accordant in goodness one with another, and he could not refrain himself, and he told them that he was Joseph. And he conversed with them in the Hebrew tongue, and fell on their neck and wept. But they knew him not, and they began to weep. And he said unto them, Weep not over me, but hasten and bring my father to me. And you see that it is my mouth that speaks, and the eyes of my brother Benjamin see. For behold, this is the 2nd year of the famine, and there are still 5 years without harvest or fruit of trees or plowing. Come down quickly, you and your households, so that you perish not through the famine, and do not be grieved for your possessions, for Yahuwah sent me before you to set things in order that many people might live. And tell my father that I am still alive, and you, behold, you see that Yahuwah has made me as a father to Pharaoh and ruler over his house and over all the land of Egypt. And tell my father of all my esteem, and all the riches and splendor that Yahuwah have given me. And by the command of the mouth of Pharaoh he gave them chariots and provisions for the way, and he gave them all many-colored raiment and silver. And to their father he sent raiment and silver and 10 donkeys which carried corn, and he sent them away. And they went up and told their father that Joseph was alive and was measuring out corn to all the nations of the earth, and that he was ruler over all the land of Egypt. And their father did not believe it, for he was beside himself in his mind. But when he saw the wagons which Joseph had sent, the life of his spirit revived, and he said, It is enough for me if Joseph lives, I will go down, and see him before I die. Chapter 44. And Yashar'al took his journey from Haran from his house, on the new moon of the 3rd month, and he went on the way of the well of the oath. And he offered a sacrifice to the Elohim of his father Isaac on the 7th of this month. And Jacob remembered the dream that he had seen at Bethel, and he feared to go down into Egypt. And while he was thinking of sending word to Joseph to come to him and that he would not go down, he remained there 7 days, if perchance he could see a vision as to whether he should remain or go down. And he celebrated the harvest festival of the firstfruits with old grain, for in all the land of Canaan there was not a handful of seed in the land, for the famine was over all the beasts and cattle and birds, and also over man. And on the 16th Yahuwah appeared unto him, and said unto him, Jacob, Jacob. And he said, Here am I. And he said unto him, I am the Elohim of your fathers, the Elohim of Abraham and Isaac. Fear not to go down into Egypt, for I will there make of you a great nation. I will go down with you, and I will bring you up again, and in this land shall you be buried, and Joseph shall put his hands upon your eyes. Fear not, go down into Egypt. And his sons rose up, and his sons' sons, and they placed their father and their possessions upon wagons. And Yashar'al rose up from the well of the oath on the 16th of this 3rd month, and he went to the land of Egypt. And Yashar'al sent Judah before him to his son Joseph to examine the land of Goshen, for Joseph had told his brothers that they should come and dwell there, that they might be near him. And this was the goodliest land in the land of Egypt, and near to him for all of them, and also for the cattle. And these are the names of the sons of Jacob, who went into Egypt with Jacob their father. Reuben, the firstborn of Yashar'al. And these are the names of his sons Enoch and Palu, and Hezron and Carmi 5. Simeon and his sons, and these are the names of his sons, Jemuel and Jamin, and Ohad and Jachin and Zohar, and Shaul the son of the Zephathite woman 7. Levi and his sons, and these are the names of his sons Gershon and Kohath, and Merari 4. Judah and his sons, and these are the names of his sons, Shelah and Perez and Zerah 4. Issachar and his sons, and these are the names of his sons Tola and Phua and Jasub, and Shimron 5. Zebulon and his sons, and these are the names of his sons Serd and Elon and Jaliel 4. And these are the sons of Jacob and their sons whom Leah bore to Jacob in Mesopotamia 6, and their one sister, Dinah, and all the souls of the sons of Leah and their sons who went with Jacob their father into Egypt were 29, and Jacob their father being with them they were 30. And the sons of Zilpah, Leah's handmaid, a wife of Jacob, who bore unto Jacob Gad and Asher. And these are the names of their sons who went with him into Egypt. The sons of Gad: Xiphon and Haggi and Shuni, and Esben and Areli, and Aradi 8. And the sons of Asher: Imnah, and Ishva, and Beriah, and Sarah their one sister 6. All the souls were 14, and all those of Leah were 44. And the sons of Rachel, the wife of Jacob: Joseph and Benjamin. And there were born to Joseph in Egypt before his father came into Egypt those whom Asenath, daughter of Potiphar priest of Heliopolis, bare unto him, Manasseh and Ephraim 3. And the sons of Benjamin: Bela and Becher and Ashbel, Jerah and Naaman and Ai and Rosh and Muppim and Huppim, and Ard 11. And all the souls of Rachel were 14. And the sons of Bilhah, the handmaid of Rachel, the wife of Jacob, whom she bare to Jacob, were Dan and Naphtali. And these are the names of their sons who went with them into Egypt. And the sons of Dan were Hushim and Simon and Asudi, and Ijaka and Salomon 6. And they died the year in which they entered into Egypt, and there was left to Dan Hushim alone. And these are the names of the sons of Naphtali: Jaziel, and Guni, and Jezer, and Shalom, and Ivy. And Ivy, who was born after the years of famine, died in Egypt. And all the souls of Rachel were 26. And all the souls of Jacob which went into Egypt were 70 souls. These are his children and his children's children, in all 70, but 5 died in Egypt before Joseph, and had no children. And in the land of Canaan 2 sons of Judah died, Ur and Onan, and they had no children, and the children of Yashar'al buried those who perished, and they were reckoned among the 70 Gentile nations. Chapter 45. And Yashar'al went into the country of Egypt, into the land of Goshen, on the new moon of the 4th month, in the 2nd year of the 3rd week of the 45th Jubilee. And Joseph went to meet his father Jacob to the land of Goshen, and he fell on his father's neck and wept. And Yashar'al said unto Joseph, Now let me die, since I have seen you, and now may Yahuwah Elohim of Yashar'al be blessed, the Elohim of Abraham, and the Elohim of Isaac, who have not withheld his mercy and his favor from his servant Jacob. It is enough for me that I have seen your face while I am yet alive, yea, true is the vision which I saw at Bethel. Blessed be Yahuwah my Elohim forever and ever, and blessed be his name. And Joseph and his brothers eat bread before their father and drank wine, and Jacob rejoiced with exceeding great joy because he saw Joseph eating with his brothers and drinking before him. And he blessed the Creator of all things who had preserved him, and had preserved for him his 12 sons. And Joseph had given to his father and to his brothers as a gift the right of dwelling in the land of Goshen, and in Ramesses, and all the region round about, which he ruled over before Pharaoh. And Yashar'al and his sons dwelt in the land of Goshen, the best part of the land of Egypt, and Yashar'al was 130 years old when he came into Egypt. And Joseph nourished his father and his brethren and also their possessions with bread as much as sufficed them for the 7 years of the famine. And the land of Egypt suffered by reason of the famine, and Joseph acquired all the land of Egypt for Pharaoh in return for food, and he got possession of the people, and their cattle and everything for Pharaoh. And the years of the famine were accomplished, and Joseph gave to the people in the land seed, and food that they might sow the land in the 8th year, for the river had overflowed all the land of Egypt. For in the 7 years of the famine it had not overflowed, and had irrigated only a few places on the banks of the river. But now it overflowed, and the Egyptians sowed the land, and it bore much corn that year. And this was the 1st year of the 4th week of the 45th Jubilee. And Joseph took of the corn of the harvest the 5th part for the king, and left 4 parts for them for food and for seed. And Joseph made it an ordinance for the land of Egypt until this day. And Yashar'al lived in the land of Egypt 17 years, and all the days which he lived were 3 jubilees, 147 years, and he died in the 4th year of the 5th week of the 45th Jubilee. And Yashar'al blessed his sons before he died, and told them everything that would befall them in the land of Egypt. And he made known to them what would come upon them in the last days, and blessed them, and gave to Joseph 2 portions in the land. And he slept with his fathers, and he was buried in the double cave in the land of Canaan, near Abraham his father, in the grave which he dug for himself in the double cave in the land of Hebron. And he gave all his books, and the books of his fathers, to Levi his son, that he might preserve them, and renew them for his children until this day.